some tricks on the hip.
Alright.
I was gonna say, this is not too different from our braille hip.
It's live.
Literally, this is what it's like. Braille hip.
Okay, we can stream like that, right? You can just stream like that,
What I
right?
think is incredible about what is going to become of this.
Watch YouTube at the same time.
You're gonna have just like brand new.
Don't give a fuck for copyright, do you?
Brand new soccer field, nice concrete public benches, and then you're gonna turn to your left, and it's just gonna be this monstrosity.
Sick.
AI generated, you write skate park with many ramps and bowls. Sort of knows what to do, but kind of not.
Got big money riding on the next one.
Fast at this point.
This feels like dead on it. I'm actually dead in this cave immediately.
Who do you think you are?
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's my video part run.
Can I move that whole thing?
Dude, that balance on there is pretty impressive, bro.
That was it. Tony Hawk
Okay.
Pro Skater number 2.
Are you giving up, JD? A wise man once said, always give up. I mean, never give up.
Yes.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
No anger.
Oh!
When I was your age, I would have landed in 30 minutes. There it is.
Braille's gone soft. You know what Aaron would have told me if I were doing that back in the day?
That's why you don't skate anymore. You're not trying to do that to this young lad.
He's better than me, though.
Welcome to the world's largest skate park. A 9? Might be the first.
I just see you in the background, are you bothered? Because you're like in plain view. I can see all of you. There you go.
More in the middle.
I'll take it.
Have your body weight lean into the side.
No, that's fine, that's fine. That's what I made as well. Pardon me, Jesus Christ.
Right here.
I just had to
$5.
cover up. It's fine. Isn't it?
All right, turn the center of your body weight just to shift it a little bit this way. We're gonna get this. Crazy skate coach coming in hot. Your knee is bent, so your body weight's still here. Get your body weight there. Gotta be like this. A 100.
That was better.
Come on, bros, where's your boards? You can use my board. Yeah. All right, get in here and do a trick. We've been waiting all day for some locals. Yeah, boots, man. You gotta shove it in those. Wow.
Can't kill two.
Oh! Where did this part come from? How does this thing exist? This is the most wild skate park. Oh, really?
Here
You gotta
we
go?
go.
All right. Good to meet you.
No! That's actually pretty good.
Thanks. Actually?
Yep.
Like as if you didn't expect it. Yeah. Landing right here. All board slide the handrail.
Oh.
Yes. He's becoming a man. Yeah! Oh. Okay, Glow. Dang, Glow. Maybe Glow needs to move to Sonoma.
He would have landed if you didn't make that comment.
You think?
Yeah.
It's it.
Today is
It's
it,
Justin
JD.
Daniels. Just do a little break. Yeah.
A CRM shouldn't set your teams back. It should revolutionize.
Oh!
That was it.
Oh.
Okay, right here, last try, Mark. Let's try only.
He'll get you Mario Kart, and this try only I got you on the Smash DLC. He held on to it for his life.
Oh! Oh!
Let's go!
He didn't even come out fakey.
Yes!
That was sick. That was sick. There was only one thing left.
Onto it for his life.
Oh!
Let's go!
He didn't even come out fakey.
Yes!
That was sick. Sick. There's only one thing left.
Let the kid lay down for a minute.
Send it.
Very well done.
I know it sounds fire. McDonald's Sprite.
We could go. You got Ollie down the set, Aaron? It's about the size of the Braille House 5, I think, right?
Yeah, it's pretty big. Well, the thing is, like, you kind of have to ollie here. Sheesh! Everything about the park is so wrong that this doesn't feel right.
I think it's a good 5, though. Get you jumping right here.
Right here? Jump is worth, like, it's so low.
Pretty life changing.
Right, I mean, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir!
Best game.
You like ollie down to it.
You gotta either fully go for it or you getting Baja blasted, my guy.
You're literally dead.
Yeah.
This is career ender. My career didn't end.
I really do think you got it if you just convince yourself to just hop on there no matter what, full send. Yeah.
Whoa! Am I wrong?
Get us back.
Let's get the heck out of Sonoma right now!
How was that?
I felt like I Baja blasted my insides.
That was an incredible display of full send.
We hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you are ever in the Sonoma area and you want to come skate this wonderful skate park, come out, have an absolute blast. We got more videos coming at you every single day, 10 a.m.
Nothing beats a Jet2 city break. Explore over 30 destinations.
I believe that skateboarding has some of the most incredible world records ever accomplished that exhibit what it truly means to reach the pinnacle of what the human body equipped with a skateboard can do. In this video, I'll be starting off with the most notable world records and then divulging to the ones that even you seasoned skaters have probably never heard about. So without taking up any more time, let's just get right into it. Up first is the longest and the highest jump on a skateboard. Ever since the dawn of mankind, whoever could run the fastest or jump the highest often got the figurative bragging rights on the playground that is Earth. And that still holds true to this day. So let me introduce you to Danny Way, the ultimate Giga Chad when it comes to huge jumps in skateboarding. In fact, he has been setting and then breaking his own world records for over 30 years. The world record for the longest jump on a skateboard took place when he jumped the Great Wall of China in 2005, clearing a distance of nearly 80 feet. But to make it even more impressive, he did it all with a broken ankle that he got after crashing the previous day when he was doing a practice jump. Because get this, he miscalculated the air density. Then 10 years later, in 2015, Danny Way broke his own world record for like the 4th time for highest air on a skateboard of 25 feet from the coping of the quarterboard. I think at this point we are reaching the limit for what is physically possible to do on a skateboard. Going any higher would require you standing on your board through the same G-forces that a fighter pilot experiences. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, but considering the ramp cost $3 million to build, it is safe to say that nobody will come close to beating Danny's record for a very long time. The biggest fall on a skateboard. Okay, this is not officially a world record because I'm sure that in reality, the biggest fall in skateboarding wasn't recorded and it probably ended up in a death. But Jake Brown has to be given at least some credit for walking away from this insane 50-foot drop. He hit the ground so hard that his shoes fell off his feet. For those of you that don't know, a fall from that height results in about a 50% chance of death. But despite having a fractured wrist, a fractured vertebrae, a bruised liver, a bruised lung, a ruptured spleen, and a concussion, Jake Brown was able to stand up and walk away from that crash. I swear, those Australians are just built different. The fastest speed. Okay, so now that we know who can jump the highest and the furthest, but what about who can ride the fastest? Well, as far as the regular old skateboards go, this record is a bit unknown because skateboards are not exactly meant for going fast, and it will give you the speed wobble of death if you go faster than 30 to 40 miles per hour. But on a specialized longboard, you can go much faster. And that record goes to Pete Conley for hitting the absolutely mind-boggling speed of 91 miles per hour. This took place in Quebec, Canada, on the longest, steepest hill in the world. And just for fun, here's a simulation of the aerodynamics of Pete Conley that I found while researching this video. But you might be surprised to learn that there is in fact somebody that has gone even faster on a piece of wood with 4 wheels. And that would be nobody other than Stefan Eliasson in 2012, who was towed up to 93 miles per hour on a racetrack by the original Tesla Roadster, making him unofficially the fastest person in skateboarding. Up next is the longest flat ground ollie, which officially was set by Jordan Hoffert at 16 feet 6 inches, and then unofficially broken 4 years later by Spencer Barton with a distance of 16 feet 9 inches. Obviously this is very impressive, but what is even more impressive to me is the water tower gap by Jeremy Ray, which was a 16 feet flat to flat ollie. But the catch is that if he didn't make it, he would have fallen 40 feet just like Jake Brown. But because Jeremy is an Australian, I'm not sure he could have survived that one. The fact that Jeremy Ray's water tower ollie is only 9 inches shy of the world record it stands today really puts into perspective the risk that went into it. And naturally, after the world's longest ollie, I've got to cover the highest one too, which is at a staggering 3 feet and 9.5 inches and was broken by 2 skaters, Jake Hayes and Xavier Alford, who did it at the same event. I could go on about this record, but I don't think I need to explain it when most of you can't even jump that high normally. So we'll just go on to the next one. Most rotations in a single jump on a skateboard. This has been a highly contested area of skateboarding for a very long time, most iconically bringing skateboarding to the mainstream with Tony Hawk's 900. Then, about 10 years later, the first 1080 was landed, which despite being a technically harder trick than the 900, had a lot less hype around it. Then, 21 years after Tony Hawk's iconic 900, comes Mitchie Brusco, landing the first ever 1260. Who not only stomps this mind-boggling trick, adding a full rotation to the 900, but shows absolutely zero emotion after breaking a world record. It's so funny how it went from this crazy hype with the 900 to a bit of excitement with the 1080, and then just this with the 1260.
Got it.
Maybe it's just because he was dizzy, or maybe he didn't even realize what he did, but the lack of emotions just make it look so cold. It's as if he's not even impressed, like, yeah, I did that, so what? What shocks me though is that even after landing this record-breaking trick, Mitchie ended up getting second in the competition. Like, I don't even care what anybody else landed. Give him first. This dude deserves it. He broke a world record. He wasn't even smiling. He's just sad because he knows that he got robbed. Anyway, I digress. The longest board slide on a rail. For a long time, rails were considered to be the hardest trick to do in skateboarding. Rails require commitment, skill, and balance. Then comes Rob Dyrdek. Yes, the MTV ridiculousness Rob Dyrdek. I'm sure some of the kids nowadays don't even know they used to skate. That's why I kind of say that. And he does this insane 100-foot rail, breaking the world record that nobody has managed to beat to this day, over 20 years later, and yet you can't find any footage of it online, which just kind of pissed me off, because the only footage of it on YouTube is this guy recording his TV with a potato in like the early 2000s. I don't know how there's no footage of it at all, but yes, this is a world record, and I'm surprised nobody has beaten it yet. Longest manual on a skateboard. Holding a long manual is one of the ultimate ways to show off your balance and coordination on a skateboard. But I think that measuring a manual in time is more important than distance, because the faster you go, the easier it is to cover distance. Which is why you'll see what I...
Hello. It's actually not in the background, you can actually see it on your screen this time. I'm watching the video that you see on the bottom right.
I think is the most impressive manual is actually overshadowed, but I'll get into that a little bit later. First, let's cover the records. The longest regular manual on a skateboard was set by Simon Sticker in 2017 with a distance of about 1.25 miles, with a total time in a manual of about 4 minutes. The longest nose manual, which is more difficult than a regular manual for most people, was set at 1,150 feet by Fabian Doring with a total time manualing of 1 minute and 20 seconds. But the most impressive manual that I never hear anybody talking about was Brandon Gonzalez for a stationary manual, which in my opinion is the hardest to do, for a total duration of, get this, not seconds, not minutes, 2 hours and 55 minutes. Bro, what? How does this video only have 300 views? He literally held a manual for almost 3 hours. Does Brandon deserve more credit, or am I just being a stupid poser? Go ahead and argue about this in the comment section down below. The most skateboarding tricks invented. Tricks are an essential part of skateboarding. It just wouldn't be the same without them. But who was the first person to realize that you could not only get your skateboard in the air with just your feet, but you could also make it do a flip and then land on it? Well, of course, that would be nobody other than Rodney Mullen, the inventor of modern skateboarding. This story was very deep. I don't have time to cover it all in this video, obviously, but it is safe to say that he invented almost every trick known to skateboarding today. From the flat ground ollie to the kick flip, heel flip, tray flip, I could honestly keep going for hours. According to Guinness World Record, which gets everything wrong about skateboarding, they claim he invented only 30 tricks, but in reality, it's a lot. He has easily invented hundreds of tricks, most of which are just different variations or tricks that only a handful of skaters other than Rodney have been able to do. The most amount of consecutive 360 revolutions. Okay, so this is where we start getting into a bit of the weird zone of skateboarding world records. Here is Richie Carsacco setting the world record for a total of 142 consecutive spins on a skateboard. Call me a poser if you want, but I did not even know that you could do this on a skateboard, let alone 142 times. I'm honestly not sure if I'm more impressed at the world record itself, or how he didn't projectile vomit while spinning that fast. I mean, I'm glad they didn't, because it would have looked like a contaminated sprinkler going off, which now is an image that you won't be able to get out of your head for the rest of the day. You're welcome. The world's largest skateboard. Yes, this is actually real and it actually exists. It was constructed originally to be part of the set of Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, but it's not just a prop. This is a fully functioning skateboard scaled up 12 times, and it was ridden down a hill by a bunch of skaters one time. It's a bit hard to tell if they were riding the board or if the board was taking them on a ride, because it doesn't seem like they have a whole lot of control over where it goes. But regardless, this has to be one of the most ridiculous skateboarding world records of all time. World's longest journey on a skateboard. I'm sure that you've heard about people running or walking very long distances, but it is not very common to hear somebody skating a long distance. But Rob Thompson decided to change that, traveling a total of 7,555 miles all the way from Switzerland to China. And yes, I know it's a longboard, but I dare you to try traveling just 10 miles in a day on a regular skateboard, and let me know how your feet feel after that. He actually documented his entire journey, and you can watch it on his YouTube channel yourself. After this, it's just a bunch of niche skateboarding world records that have been broken simply because nobody has thought of doing them, or it's just how many of this trick can you do in a minute, which sure are impressive, but it makes for a boring video. So with that said, thank you for watching, like it if you liked it, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye! One of the core aspects of skateboarding that brings people together is accomplishing things that were previously thought to be impossible. This is prevalent through the entire history of skateboarding, starting as early as the most basic tricks ever invented, then with pull and vert skating, then with the transition to street skateboarding in the mid to late 80s, skaters started to skate things that were never thought to be possible. They started to grind ledges and rails and started jumping off of stair sets and then doing tricks down them. At the time, this was completely revolutionary for skateboarding, and a new trick that was thought to be impossible was being landed every single month. Ultimately, this led to bigger and more difficult tricks being done, which brings us to modern skateboarding today, where you have 10-year-olds board sliding on a Toro before heading off to school and doing 900s as a warm-up. So today in this video, I'll be covering some of the most insane things ever done on a skateboard that nobody would believe if it wasn't recorded on video. This is what you get after 70 years of innovation in skateboarding. Up first, we have Jeremy Ray's Water Tower Gap. To this day, nobody has topped Jeremy Ray's Water Tower Gap, and it's for a good reason. Doing anything bigger is pretty much a guaranteed death sentence. The water towers are about 40 feet high and 16 feet across.
This one's got it up 16 feet right there.
Got your longest volley ever?
No, flat to flat, probably.
But for me, the most impressive part, beside the trick itself, is that Jeremy had to run and jump over the gap each time before he could make another attempt.
And running and jumping it back was way worse in my mind.
Just for the record, the average distance of a long jump is 19 feet for a high school track athlete that is a senior. Jeremy is an amazing skater, but by no means is he a track athlete. And you can see for yourself just how close he is landing to the edge with just mere inches to spare. One wrong step and it would be about a 50% chance of death if he fell to the ground based on false statistics from a similar height. But the most terrifying thing that most people don't know about this jump is that there were actually small rocks on top of the water tower that Jeremy had to sweep out of the way. This is what he said when asked about it years later in an interview.
You would think there wouldn't be rocks up there, right? But there are rocks up there. Right. Yeah. Tons of them. I was going as fast as I could, getting to the edge, taking my last push, and a rock up right in front of me, like it popped out of the wheel and kept going, and it didn't go out of my path either. But I'm going too fast to stop. That rock bouncing in your mind while you're hitting that tail is such a mind melter. Yeah.
What I find hilarious is that after he landed this absolutely insane trick in the made skateboard history, he went about his day as if nothing even happened and even filmed the beginner tip video later that same day. Danny Way, the Great Wall of China. Back in the 50s when surfers put rollerblades on their boards and carved down hills, I bet nobody was even thinking that somebody would take one of these things and jump the Great Wall of China. And I bet if Danny Way didn't jump the Great Wall of China, skaters still to this day wouldn't think it was possible. The funny thing is though, is that he was actually struggling to find a place in the Great Wall of China that was big enough to put his mega ramp.
I guess it's not as big as I envisioned in some spots, so I'm trying to find an area that I'd feel good about. I wouldn't want to cheat on this one, so I'm trying to find some section we're trying to find a section here that would actually be a legitimate jump for me. Jumping from there over here is the widest spot of the wall, which I feel does the most justice for skateboarding and the possibility of breaking a world record. So
not only would he be jumping the Great Wall of China, but he would also be attempting to break not one, not two, but 3 world records at the same time. For fastest acceleration on a skateboard, longest distance jumped on a skateboard, and highest distance jumped from the quarter pipe.
Now the ramp is split into 2 sections, the first part being the takeoff area, which has a 60-degree steepness to it. It means that Danny will accelerate from 0 to 55 miles per hour quicker than a Porsche Turbo. He then hits the kicker and flies over what is called the open zone. On landing on the second part of the structure, he's looking to put that skateboard in an area which he calls the sweet spot. He will then land, accelerate once again, and look to break yet another world record by flying the highest any other skateboarder has ever flown out of the halfpipe, in excess of 25 feet into the air, and then landing back into the halfpipe. The crowd will be going crazy, and Danny Way from California will have broken 3 world records in just 1 jump over the Great Wall of China.
The day before the official jump, he was doing some so-called practice jumps, and on his first attempt, he didn't account for the air density. Yes, you heard me right. The air was much more humid than in the California desert where he was practicing before. Because of this, he had more drag flying through the air, and as soon as he took off, he knew he wasn't going to make it. He landed short on the knuckle, and the sound of him hitting the ground sounded just like a gunshot. Despite having the worst case scenario happen, he got off pretty lucky without any fractures, but he did sprain his ankle very badly. Most skaters would at least have to take a few weeks to months off to heal before they step back on a skateboard again. But Danny Way knew that if he didn't do that jump the next day, he would probably never get the opportunity again.
I took a pretty good blow to my ankle. Pretty lucky I'm standing on it right now. I mean, obviously, you know, I've put a lot of energy and time into making this happen, and an ankle injury is not going to take me out at this point. So today I feel is going to be a big success, and we're going to get it done.
And after all the work, time, money, and approval from the Chinese government it took to build a goddamn mega ramp on their historic wall, Danny Way was determined to make it happen. "'Tis but a scratch," he said.
Need help? Farewell.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary. 'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Well, what's that then? I've heard worse. You liar. Come on, you pansy.
So he popped a few pain meds and went to battle. As he limped up the ramp, the anticipation grew. He didn't land it on his first attempt, but he cleared a knuckle and landed exactly where he wanted to. This gave him a big boost of confidence, but you could tell that he was in pain by the way he was stopping to take breaks as he walked back up. Regardless, he pushed through because that wasn't going to stop him.
Wix is your platform to perform on.
His second attempt was a success. He cleared the wall, but he was not finished just yet. He walked back up and did it again, this time doing a 360 over the gap. A true legend and a pioneer of skateboarding, I could honestly make this whole video just about things that he has done himself. Aaron Hamoki, aka Jaws, on the Leon 25. Aaron Hamoki, also known as Jaws, has a reputation for sending massive jumps. But the difference between him and someone like Danny Way is that he does it on the streets. Unlike something that's made for skateboarding like mega ramps, on the streets you have factors in play that you just cannot account for. There might be a small crack in the pavement that slows you down, ending up in you eating it because you don't have enough speed. But this is exactly where Jaws strives. One day when he was a young skater, he was watching a skateboarding video where Ali Bilala attempted to jump the same massive stair set, ultimately ending in him giving up after injuring his feet. This stair set would become known as the Leon 25 because it's in Lyon, France, and you guessed it, it has 25 stairs. I don't even need to make any comparisons to show how big it is. Just look at how small he looks standing on top of it. It's an absolute monster stair set. Watching that Ali Bilala video inspired Jaws to go bigger, and eventually the day came that Jaws would take on the beast himself. And right away, on one of his first attempts, he had his board break in two under his feet, causing him to do his splits, tear his MCL in the process, and imprint the texture of the ground onto his balls.
Yeah, so I just got back from the doctor. Said that I tore my MCL. It's going to take about 6 to 8 months to heal. I know I can do it, so I definitely want to go back.
Despite taking that absolutely massive slam, Jaws was not finished. So after taking a few months to recover, he came back to this spot with his friends, family, and Ali Bilala himself there to support him. After a tremendous battle of slamming after slamming after slamming, and even having one of his wheels break off his board from the force of the impact,
His wheel broke off. His bearing stayed on, and his wheel just ripped off through the bearing.
he was finally able to land it and roll away. Becoming even more of a skateboarding GOAT than he already is. Clive Dixon, Water Tower Board Slide. So you've heard about the Water Tower Gap, but how about this? A rail connecting two water towers that is 50 feet off the ground. And if that wasn't enough, the landing is on a thin sheet of rusty steel that bends when you jump on it. With a pipe on your left side, a ventilation cover of some kind on your right, and exactly on the spot that you need to land, there's a piece of metal sticking out that will stop your board and slam you onto the ground.
I was just worried about him falling over, and then one of the times, like the early tries, his board fell off the side. Like, I'm glad that's not him, but that's a long way down.
Oh, and I almost forgot, he's landing uphill because of the arch of the roof on the tower. Clive literally had nothing going for him. This is just one of those spots where you have to take a step back and think, how many red flags do you need before you decide it's just not worth it? Like, even if you do make it down the rail and avoid falling to your death, your best shot of getting the trick is to pretty much land onto a skate stopper uphill. Well, Clive didn't care. He saw the impact that Jeremy Ray had off his water tower gap, and he wanted to have his own water tower Hall of Fame moment. And to say this spot put up a battle is an understatement. It put up a war against Clyde. Slamming him on the metal roof over and over again, he kept on going, eventually pulling his hamstring after stepping on the sign that he put over the built-in skate stopper. But he would not give up, and against all odds, he was able to land it and secure this insanely cool Thrasher cover, which in many ways resembles that same water tower gap from Jeremy Ray.
Yeah, when we were walking away, I was like, yo, Mike, made a little revision to my will last night in case things went sour today.
Hey there.
He just looked at me and goes,
what can I do for you? See you around.
Henry Gartland, the Kinker. 30 years ago in skateboarding, no one would have thought grinding a kinked rail was even possible, let alone a rail with 8 kinks. For those unfamiliar with the term, a kink in a rail is when it transitions from going down to going flat. If it goes down flat, down flat, those are 2 kinks. The flat parts are the 2 kinks. And if you keep adding more and more of those, it just keeps going. The reason it was thought to be impossible for a long time was just because nobody ever thought of doing rails for a long time, and when it did rails were already cool as hell, and they were hard to do. But then if you add a kink in the mix, it just throws everything off. The reason why this is so much more impressive than just some regular old long rail with no kinks is because each kink requires you to shift your weight slightly to avoid sticking to the rail. So pretty much, when you're trying to grind on a rail with kinks, it's like you're playing 4D chess with your balance. You need to balance from side to side and back and forth. The kinks can also cause your trucks to come off the rail and make you fall, which makes it a very difficult trick to do, even though with just a single kink in the rail, let alone 8. And as you'd expect, Henry Gartland fell in just about every way imaginable. After 4 grueling sessions, he was finally able to roll away and add to a long list of tricks most skaters wouldn't even dare to try. And I just love the emotion that he has when he lands it. You can tell that he's happy and he's truly living in the moment. But unfortunately, only 3 years after landing this trick, Henry died from the apparent suicide at 21 years old, which is a really tragic fate for such a young and talented skater. We all have our own lows in life, and some of us have it worse than others, so remember to be compassionate to other people, even if you don't agree with them, and if you are feeling depressed or lonely, reach out to somebody and talk about it instead of bottling it all in. And no matter what you're going through, remember that nothing lasts forever, and from the lowest lows often come the highest highs. If you're interested in learning more about these skaters, check out my Skate Stories playlist, and let me know what other moments you think I should have included in this video that I missed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am glad to be back after my 1-year hiatus from this YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe if you're new, like it if you liked it, and I'll see you guys again next week.
A CRM shouldn't weigh your budget down. It should lift your teams up. A CRM shouldn't hide fees. It should save you money. A CRM shouldn't slam you with add-ons. It should work.
Recently, I made a video featuring some of the most insane skateboarding tricks ever done, such as the water tower ollie, Danny Way jumping the Great Wall of China, and the Leon 25 gap. But trust me, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Because skateboarders are known for constantly pushing the limits of what's possible